Not long after, Boone traded his lawnmower for a bicycle and landed a job delivering the daily newspaper.
I came in from my paper route and I found a billfold in the grass, was a billfold. So I pulled it out and it wasn't the person where I was collecting. It was about 2 or 3 doors down the street. So after I collected for the paper, I went down, knocked on the door, and Mr. Jenkins came to the door, and I said, Mr. Jenkins, I said, I found your billfold. I said, it was down 2 or 3 doors down the street there. And he said, oh my gosh, thank you so much. He said, I lost that, and he said, I had some important papers in it, and I, of course, didn't go through the billfold. But he said, I want to reward you for doing this. And so he reached in the billfold and pulled out $1 and gave it to me. Good gosh, I mean, that was big money, because my paper out had 28 papers on it. And I made every day 1 cent per paper, net. And so I was making 28 cents a day. And let me tell you, that wasn't peanuts either. I mean, I was big in that school with 28 cents a day. And I wasn't throwing it around either. I saved it. And so, but I got home and reported my windfall to my grandmother, aunt, and mother, who were there. And I all at once realized, while I told them the story, that I was getting not positive looks. They was kind of shaking their head no. All of them were. And my grandmother said, Sonny said, you need to take the $1 back to Mr. Jenkins. And no, Dad. You know, he wanted me to have it. And I was pleading with them now. And all of them were saying, no, you need to take it back. And finally, my grandmother closed it out that your plea for relief on this is over with, and now it's time for you to move, and we're not going to reward somebody for being honest. I remember that's the way that ended up. And so I went out and got on my bicycle, and it wasn't but 5 blocks away. And so I pedaled over there, and now on the way it started to rain. And it's summer and it's big. It turned into a cloudburst. I mean, it was coming down in buckets. And so I go over there and I'm feeling sorry for myself, and I gave him the $1 back. He said, no, I wanted you to have it. And I said, I know, but my grandmother, aunt, my mother didn't want me to have it, and so I'm bringing it back. And he said, well, no, Boone. I said, no, they told me that we're not going to reward somebody for being honest. So I said, here's the $1 and thank you. But so I got on my bike. Boy, I'm going back and pedaling back into that just downpour. So I get to Burgess Street, which is a drainage canal for the town, and it's deep. So I have to push through it. So I get my bike, I push across it, and it's coming down waist deep in that drainage canal. And I get home, and by the time I get home, of course, I look like a drowned rat. And I'm trying to get all the mileage I can out of this ordeal that they forced me to put myself through. So I get home and walk in the back porch, and they all look at me and said, well, you got wet, didn't you? And I said, well, I almost drowned crossing Burgess Street, and didn't get a reaction. And after I tried to pursue it a little further, my aunt said to me, she said, Sonny, if you'd have gone when we told you to, said you could have been back before it started to rain. So that was all. So I went in, took my clothes off, dried off, put on some dry clothes.